On Friday, we had such a great time. We were holding a sacred space for the burning bowl ceremony. Those of you that came, you know, we released the past, never to those things that didn't serve us and that probably never served us. We released those, never to pick them up again. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. You can participate today. So today, first of all, after we released all of that stuff, we then created an affirmation. We could call it an intention or a vision for ourselves, or some can call it a letter to God. And today, we're going to look at another ritual. We're going to look at a passage from Revelation. We're going to unpack that passage and look at how to really listen, how to surrender. We're going to look at 3 promises: hidden manna, the white stone, and a new name. That's what all of this preparation is for, to create a new name. But in order to do that, we must go deep within and listen, not with the outer ear. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, good. There are people here. A new year is a time for new beginnings. As we begin this new year, I invite you to remember that burning bowl ceremony and remember the highest vision that you hold for yourself. I invite you to consider one specific aspect of that high vision, how you want to be. You were given a white stone when you came in, and you didn't get a white stone, Maddie, could you help pass out white stones? Where are they? The white stones? I know the markers are over here.
The stones are there too.
The stones are there too? Thank you. Just the map markers too. Oh, or pencils, wherever. They're markers, okay. We've got white stones, and take a card as well, and we've got markers to mark on the white stone. That's good we have markers. Last time we had pencils. Now you don't have to go home and write over the pencil mark with the marker because we have the markers. Yes. This is a good thing. So as you pass out those white stones and markers, I want to tell you a little bit about, and just hold on to that. I want to tell you a little bit about another ritual. Some unity churches include this ritual along with the burning bowl, and it's called the white stone ceremony. By the way, let me just say a word about the ritual. Unity doesn't focus so much on rituals per se, because typically rituals take over the meaning of whatever they're intended for. And people are so focused on the ritual itself that you don't really get what the ritual meant or what was meaning to do. So in Unity, we focus on those rituals that take us deep within so we can really connect with our indwelling Christ. So there is a difference. This ritual was created by a Unity minister as a follow-up to the burning bowl and as a symbol of starting anew. It's an activity that we can do to help ourselves claim our good, and we'll begin with a very personal ritual in just a few moments. But first, let's put all of this in context. The ceremony is inspired Oh, I have some good stuff to share with you. It's inspired by a passage in Revelation. How many of you have read Revelation, a part of it, or heard anything about it? Did it scare you to death? With all the stuff about the seven-headed beast and Jesus riding on a white horse, battles of Armageddon, trumpets, pits opening up with fire stuff. What crazed mind wrote that? No judgment, I was just observing what I read. And the irony of Revelation is that, you're not gonna believe this, is that it was written as a letter of comfort. Hold on. It was written as a letter of comfort. First of all, the book is called The Apocalypse of John, not John the Baptist, not the disciple John, but another John. We don't know this John, but another John. And it was a type of literature, you know, like we have romance literature, we have the classic literature, other kinds of literature. So Revelation is a type of literature around the written around the end of the first century. The idea of the apocalyptic literature was to be sensational. Do you think it met its goal? Yes. Okay, so it was written to 7 churches in Europe, and they were formed to say, yeah, you know, the letters were meant to say, yes, I know we're having a really rough time right now, and we're still under the rule of the Roman Empire, and it's very difficult. We understand all that. It's really, really hard right now, but don't give up. Hold on. Remember on Friday, I was saying, hold on. So John was telling the people in the 7 churches, hold on. He was trying to comfort them. Just hold on. Hold on. And y'all hold on. Hold on, he said, because the Roman Empire is not going to last forever. When it falls, then all of you need to be a new light in this region. So as you can see, the book of Revelation was meant to lift the people up. So now you can go and tell all your friends to stop comparing that with present times, okay? And that the book was written for the people back then. Although we in Unity, we use people, places, and things as a metaphysical symbol to support us on our spiritual journey. I hope that makes sense. We can derive inspiration from this and other stories of the Bible. So now here is the passage. Let anyone who has an ear listen. To everyone who conquers, I will give you some of the hidden manna, and I will give you a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. That's important. No one knows except the one who receives it. This passage refers to a couple of actions. The first activity is to listen. And we listen during meditation. When we quiet ourselves, we get still. As soon as you sit still, your body fires up, doesn't it? I mean, your mind fires up. When the body stills, the mind gets really busy. That's okay. Because in a moment, we're going to go into a meditation, and I'm going to invite you to, as that mind starts to get busy and you start thinking about all the things you're going to do after this service, I invite you to come back to yourself. Come back. Focus on that God-given breath, that life-giving force of breathing. That's it. The mind is made to have thoughts. Meditation has never been about having a blank mind. No one can do that. No one. We can have gaps between thoughts, but the mind is made to think. So, when we get to that part, you'll hear me speak some words. Your position is simply to sit and breathe. We can do that. The first activity is listening, otherwise known as meditation. An ear to hear is not an outer ear, but the ear of the soul, the ear that hears the still, small voice. We develop this inner listening quality by getting out of our intellect and into our hearts. What is that, about 12 inches? Not a long trip, right? And we get there through meditation. It's a tool to help us quiet our busy mind and listen to the divine voice of wisdom. We open our minds and hearts to a deep intuitive knowing. Men and women, I know sometimes people think just women are intuitive. No, men, you guys are intuitive as well. And all you need to do is quiet yourself. Sit still. The next activity is to surrender. Surrender. The passage says, to everyone who conquers. The conqueror is not an outer war, but an inner one. To anyone who takes the time to listen to that still small voice, to everyone who practices release and affirms inner spiritual qualities. Sometimes that can become an inner war. We realize it requires surrendering our personal will to what? Divine will. And the paradox is that surrender of the ego self is victory. It's the birthing of the essential self, just as Jesus taught and demonstrated. Now, the third promise is this. Well, there are three promises. It said, to everyone who conquers, I will give you hidden manna, and I will give you a white stone, and on the white stone, a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. This is important. That's why it's coming up again. So the hidden manna, first is the promise. The promise is the hidden manna. That's the first thing. In the days of wandering in the forest, in the wilderness with Moses, the manna was sent by God. So the people just walked around going from place to place with Moses, right? And when it was time to eat, food was available. Only take what you need at any given time in life. Because when the people start to take more than what they needed, what happened? The food spoiled. How many of you need to clean out your refrigerator? Well, you're not alone because I need you to. There's something in the back of there, I know. Anyway, so the hidden manna is not visible to the world. We are given spiritual energy and nourishment that sustains us. That's grace. It nourishes the soul and the body, and it benefits the whole person, the whole being. Now, the second promise is that white stone. Back in the time of Jesus, when Jesus was teaching, everyone served time, well, not everyone, but some people sometimes served time in prison, not everyone. And when they were released, they were given this white stone. And there were other people in bondage. When they were released, they were given this white stone, which meant that you are now free. You're a free person. I heard one minister say that that white stone was given to what group was that? I don't know, Greeks or Romans or somebody, a group of people that really knew how to party. So that white stone got them into parties. Okay, so that white stone is important. It serves as a symbol they had during that time, and it helped to release one of false beliefs about themselves, old beliefs, error thinking. You know, all of that stuff, we can create a prison for ourselves with that kind of thinking. With the release from bondage comes a sense of worthiness. We are beloved of God, one with the divine, free and unlimited. The third promise is a new name. In the Bible, we read of many name changes. For example, Saul, which means personal will, he was struck to his knees and blinded for 3 days. And why? What did he have to do? He had to go within. When he looked within, he was given a new name. And so Saul's personal will was transformed to Paul, which means enlightened will. He is a symbol of human will that surrenders to divine will, and in that surrender, he claimed his divine power, as each of us can and will do. The story of a name change is common in biblical mythology. In the story of prophet Isaiah, 62nd chapter, 2nd verse, the Lord consciousness shall see your freedom, and you shall be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will give you. Abram, as he grew in spiritual awareness, became, we all know, who? Abraham, correct. Sarai became who? Sarah. Jacob was renamed Israel, and Simon was renamed Peter, and Peter metaphysically means faith. So when we awaken to our own inner spirit, we can take on a new identity, a new name, so to speak. This refers to the new, higher realization of the I am, a new awareness of our God self. That's powerful. Yes, there's nothing that separates us from that power. And this is where the ceremony called the white stone comes in. In the passage, we are told, again, I will give you a white stone. On the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it. I heard one Unity minister say, when you write your name that you're given, that you'll be given during this service, and by the way, if nothing comes up for you, that's okay. Do not judge yourself. You'll take your stone home, and in the quiet and sanctity of your own home, get quiet and ask, because every time you ask a question of spirit, you will get an answer. And perhaps the answer doesn't come today, right now, in this time and space. That's okay. So I invite you to meditate on what you're being called to in the new year and claim that as your new name. Now, by now, everybody should have a white stone and pencil, right? A marker. Hold your white stone in your hand. Where's mine?
There's one left?
Yes.
Just one?
There's one left, it's yours.
Where's yours? I had one.
Oh, good. Okay, a marker.
I too need a white stone because as I was preparing for this talk, something came up for me and I thought, that can't be right because the ceremony hasn't happened yet. But who knows? I'm going to do this right along with you, and who knows what will come up. It could be the same thing and maybe not. But hold your white stone in your hand and simply open your mind to hearing your new name. Again, if nothing comes up, that's okay. Now I'm going to, I want you to relax in the way that you know how. And I'll invite you to start by slowing your breathing down a little bit. You can relax your eyes behind closed lids and just again slow your breathing. Allow yourself to ask these questions. Who am I? Or what am I called to be in this coming year, 2022? As I let go of my old habits, those are released during the burning bowl ceremony or those that I'm releasing in this moment, what is it that I am called to be known as? Let your awareness drop from your head down into your heart, into your gut. From your intellect and into your deep inner knowing and awareness of divine love and wisdom. Right now, in this place, at this time, at the beginning of a new year, you're invited to consciously surrender to the activity of the divine. For the next few minutes, I'll invite you to allow wisdom to speak to you. Give your ego a rest time right now, and let that divine holy voice speak in and through you. Perhaps there's a change coming up for you, a change in location, a change in name, a change in a job, a career, a change in title, or just a new quality that Spirit is pressing out and through you. Give yourself permission to know that as you release that which no longer serves your highest good, you can claim a new quality, a new name. This is a moment in which you know you are free to open and surrender to what you are receiving from Spirit. Breathe that in. Now, as you are guided by Spirit, I invite you to trust in this now moment as Spirit gives to you in this sacred space, in this moment of truth. Give you your divine wisdom, your divine purpose, and insight into your holy essence. Listen and hear your new name. This will only make sense to you, and no judgment about it. Just listen. Perhaps you're becoming a published author, clean and sober, or grateful, or whatever comes up for you. And as the name becomes clear, you will want a deeper understanding. A name has come to you. When it has come, remain quiet and still and allow yourself to ask for a deeper understanding, to ask if there are any steps you might take. In this moment, allow yourself to simply open to spirit, say and affirm these words. Notice it may be on the screen. God in me reveals my true essence. God in me reveals my next step. God as me lives a joyous, peaceful, fulfilling life. And now as you prepare to write, Bob will play something special for this moment. Just listen to that inner voice. Now, whatever you have written is just for you. You don't need to share it with anyone. Bring it out and look at it from time to time. Put it in your meditation area. Now, in closing, we have released what didn't serve us. We're not taking it into this year, 2022. And anytime you look at your white stone, realize that you have the gift of choice in every moment. It is your life. The gift of the gift to live differently, to live a more fulfilling life, to begin again, to connect with God and co-create with God. The white stone carries now a new name, the spiritual identity and a deeper awareness of your soul's journey at this time in your life. No one in the entire universe, except your inner wisdom, knows what this new name is. And it is specific to you. But it has come to your awareness to be lived out, not just to write it on the stone and forget about it. It is to be expressed and to be embodied as you. It is what your true self, the divine, is calling you to be. It is a whisper from your soul that you're so much more than you think you are. So much more. And you are so much more than you have ever allowed to be expressed. There's an affirmation, an affirmative prayer that you'll see on the screen in just a moment. I'm going to invite you all to say this prayer with me. I am grateful that I begin this year with a clean slate. I embrace this new name given to me by God and celebrate my unfolding good. Thank you, God. Amen. Let's say that amen in a different way with energy. Amen. Thank you. By the way, I have one more thing to add. You know, when you're preparing a talk, it's never finished. And this morning, at the 13th hour, I saw this and I said, I want to share it. Where do I put it? Well, I just decided to stick it in here. So do I have your permission to share this?
Yeah.
Thank you. You must believe in your affirmation, intention, and vision. The mind responds to the power of belief because belief becomes the foundation of faith when it is grounded in a spiritual premise or practice. It is required to give its possibilities credence. Wow, that resonated deeply with me. So it all begins in what you believe. I'm trying to think of one of my Unity teachers. His name is Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. He said, we all have a BS, a lot of BS. And of course, every time he says that, we think grabbing our pearls, right? But we all have a belief system. And our belief system is the foundation for our faith. So hang on to that. Now it's time for us to share of our bounty. And do we have something that's going on the screen for the offertory?
Oh, for just a blessing.
Okay. So for all of our members and those who contribute on a continuous basis, thank you so very much. And then for those at home, simply go to unity.org, centerofunity.org, and there's an opportunity for you to donate there. And if you'd like to mail in your gift, the address is listed on the website as well. So now, we also are taking up a second offering. The baskets are at either side of our fellowship hall, and we'll bless our offering now.
Divine love.
Divine love, bless me,
Bless
blesses and multiplies all that I have,
all that I give,
and all that I receive,
and all that
that I am. Thank you, God.
It's the time when we all get up and share together the peace song. Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with thee. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it
Oh, yeah, what are we saying?
Oh, just forever.
Oh, the prayer for protection. All right, come on.
The
Light.
light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you.